Hello, my name is Scott Phillips and this is my video for TK Worldwide. Hello, my name is Scott Phillips and this is my video for TK Worldwide. I've been in retail over 30 years, learning my chops at such places as Kenny's Shoes and Nordstrom's before moving on to cars. What I want to do is take a moment today and give you a brief glimpse into who I am and what I'm all about. And I'm sure at the end of this video you'll feel as I do that I can be the next elite trainer for TK Worldwide. Let's start off with a story. In 1991, I was a new husband and father. I was trying to take a shoe store concept nationwide with a franchise. I remember coming home one January evening, throwing my keys across the counter and telling my wife, I'm done. I don't know what else to do with these guys. They don't want to listen to me. They don't want to do what they need to do to be successful. I'm just at my wit's end. At that point, my wife had a radical idea. She looked at me with that smile and said, you know what? Maybe what you need to do is sell cars. At that point, I'm like, sell cars? I don't want to sell cars. Those guys are slimy, they lie, they got no skills, they got no honor. I really don't want to sell cars. She said, that's okay, because I met a guy today named Cliff Lee, and I invited him and his wife over for dinner, and we're just going to sit and have dinner. I'm like, okay. So we did. I remember sitting there with Clifford talking as people do over dinner and telling him about franchising and shoes, my passion for retail, and him telling me about cars. And we got to that moment of truth where we talked about what we made. I told Clifford what I was making trying to take this concept nationwide, and he actually laughed at me. When he got done laughing, wiping a tear from his eye, he showed me what he made selling cars. Now right then, I could have got upset. I could have done what a lot of people do and just closed my mind, but instead, I opened my mind because my wife had mentioned maybe I'd be good at this. And so I listened to Clifford. And he was getting ready to go to a place called Fremont Ford. It was a palace of a store. And I said, Cliff, you got to take me. He goes, well, I'm not even sure if you can do this. You've never sold cars before. Here's what you do, Scott. I want you to go to a Volvo store in Berkeley, walk around over the weekend, see if you even like it. So I got my wife, I got my newborn baby. We spent 3 hours at this Volvo store in Berkeley on Sunday. I came home that night, called Clifford. I said, Cliff, I can do this gig. This is easy, no problem. Now tell me again, where are you going? And he said, well, I'm going to Fremont Ford, but they'll never hire you. I go, why? Because you have no experience, he said. I said, you know what, Clifford, you're my mentor. I'm going to do what you tell me, but all I want is a chance to talk to these guys. If I get a chance to talk to them and they don't hire me, I'll work 6 months or a year. Wherever you tell me, I'll get seasoned. If you've got a place for me after that, I'm happy to be with you. Just give me a chance. At that point, he agreed. 3 days later, I had an interview at Fremont Ford. Now, I'll never forget it, man. 1991, everything's blown and going. Remember, back in 91, the car business was pretty good. Ford was selling Explorers, quality was job one, they had the Taurus, they were really doing a good job. I walked into this place, had an interview with a gentleman by the name of Vic Cervantes. Now, Vic Cervantes was used car personified, and by that I mean he had the slick back hair, wore $1,000 shark skin suits, had more gold on than a small South American country, tanned from playing tennis. Vic sat across from the desk from me. I handed my resume to him, and he looked at it. He said, kid, I can't hire you. I said, no kidding. He goes, no, I can't. I mean, you have no experience. Those guys, you see those 40 guys out there, they all have experience. They sell cars every day. They'll eat you alive. You'll never make it. And I looked at him and I said, you know what, Vic? We don't know each other very well, but we will. So here's what I propose. You get your 5 best guys. I don't even care who they are. You get your 5, I'll go get 4 of the shoe guys. We'll go on a 4,000 square foot floor and we'll see who survives at the end of 30 days. Because I got to tell you, Vic, if I can make a living on a 4,000 square foot floor, how much better am I going to be at 14 acres with 1,200 units to choose from and people falling in the door to give me money? Well, we dickered back and forth a little bit. He said, all right, kid, not a problem. You won't last 30 days, but I'll let you come on board. Well, as is the case, Vic was wrong. I not only lasted 30 days, in 1992, I was Salesman of the Year for that store. In 1992, I also got the 300, 500 Masters from Ford, and we won a couple of trips. Now, I could have been satisfied right there. A lot of people might have been, but I always wanted to be more in control, have more answers, better myself. So at the end of 1992, I took a radical step on my own. I went with a buddy, and we got into the special finance business. Now, you know special finance, that's those people that don't pay attention. There's a lot of negative things we could say, but what it did is it got me out of my comfort zone. So we went to a little pot lot, we're selling bank repos. I made more money in 9 months than I had made with Fremont Ford in 2 years, and I was doing pretty good at Fremont Ford. But at the end of 9 months, the whole thing blew up, and now still a new father looking around, I had to find another gig. So I made a pit stop at a Toyota store on the way and then got recruited to probably my best store through my career to date, and that was at Crown Chevrolet. Crown Chevrolet was a little mom and pop store, Chevrolet, Buick and Oldsmobile, and Isuzu back then. And they were doing about $170,000 a month, kind of sleepy in Dublin, California. And we took that store, when I left in 2003, we were making over $710,000 in gross a month in and month out. I'll never forget how I ended up moving from finance onto the desk. I actually had to box a deal for one of the fleet guys. Now, this guy, I swear, knew nothing about the car business, because I guarantee you, at every step along the way, he stymied me with how he talked to the customer, how he set the deal up. I was so frustrated. I got done. I walked into the general manager's office. I said, you know what? I can do a better job on the desk than anybody you have here. And he said, Scott, you have no experience. That'll never happen. And right then, as is always the case for me, I took the bull by the horns and said, I bet you I can. He took that challenge. 6 years I was on the desk. As I said, we went from $170,000 in gross to $710,000 in gross at that store. Blowing and going, selling cars. We made it a powerhouse Chevrolet Cadillac store. At the end of 2003, as happens with highly successful people, I was looking for a challenge and wanted to go a different direction. They wanted to keep the status quo, and we parted company. I made a few stops along the way. I took a Motors Holding store and transferred it from one city to another with some folks, and then got the wild idea a year and a half later that I was done with the business. Left the business, got into the mortgage business, the worst mistake of my adult life. I spent a year and a half in it, hated every minute of it, really didn't enjoy it as much fun, and at the end of that time, I had to find something different because we needed medical and dental for my kids and my wife. So I went back in the car business to do what I've always wanted to do. This time, a little bit wiser, a little bit older. I got in so that I could teach, and I could be a trainer, and I could be the guy that coaches people up.